it's 20 years today since Steve Bradbury was the last man standing, sliding over the line, and we're here at the Mount Isa Winter Games Stadium, where of course Steve is here to spruik the bid. But we're taking some time out to talk about that day where he won Australia's first gold at the Winter Games. Steve, February 17, 2002, what exactly happened?
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. I can't believe it was 20 years ago now, and for me that was the end of something that started 20 years prior to that, when I was 8 years old and I first strapped on a pair of speed skates. And obviously there's a lot of ground to cover in that skating career across 4 Winter Olympic campaigns, but you know, the race that everyone remembers in Salt Lake City for me was the most unimaginable way to finish my Olympic career. And I had a hell of a lot of luck in that final, with the rest of the competition falling over in front of me, the whole world going down, and me gliding across the finish line with my arms out, kind of thinking, I don't know if I should celebrate or if I should hide. But it was a culmination of 20 years of hard work, some life-threatening injuries, and a whole lot of blood, sweat and tears along the journey.
So what exactly was life like for you doing speed skating, such like very much a niche sport, especially in Australia? What was life like for you to actually get to those games, and what kind of sacrifices did you make? Like you mentioned, the injuries.
Haven't been asked that much before about what life was like before the gold medal, being a speed skater from Brisbane.
Yeah, of all cities, yeah.
You can imagine the crowd coming to watch me train at an ice wall at Acacia Ridge at 5 a.m. You know, I was training in complete anonymity and doing it on a shoestring. I had to borrow $1,000 off my dad to fix my car a couple of months before I went to Salt Lake, so I could continue to get to training. And for me, it was something that I developed a passion for when I was a kid, and I wanted to see if I could be the best in the world at it. And in my head, it didn't matter that I was training with a very small number of other skaters, committed guys. We didn't have the budget, we didn't have all the bells and whistles that other countries around the world had, but we were giving all we had every day and wanted to see if we could be the best in the world.
Because everyone does remember that you did win the gold medal, but you actually were part of the team that won Australia's first ever Winter Games medal, the bronze in '94. What was the case with that?
Yeah, so that was 8 years before the gold.
Yeah.
Lillehammer in Norway. I was in the relay team with Andrew Murtha, Kieran Hansen and Richard Nozelski. We won Australia's first Winter Olympic medal, which put short track speed skating on the map in Australia for couple of weeks.
Was there much attention around it when you won that medal in '94?
There was, being the first medal that Australia had ever won at the Winter Games. It was a pretty proud moment for us guys. It was a goal that we'd set out to achieve many years prior to that.
Did it not just allow the sport, but it probably gave more exposure to winter sports and the Winter Games by you winning that first bronze?
You know, Australia had, over the years, had many amazing athletes in winter sports.
Yeah. But
we were never able to get that first medal. And a lot of the media said, well, the monkey's off the back now, and since then we've won 15 odd Winter Olympic medals over the last X number of years. And the tag of Australia being a numbers filler at the Winter Games after we started winning medals was gone.
Going back to when you're the last man standing through the line in 2002, the other blokes have all piled on, you're sliding through the line, and you're not sure if you deserve this or not. What was the tension like, or did you feel like some sort of anxiety, or did you even feel like a fraud when you were there? Just for those moments before the judges said, no, hang on, he's the gold medalist.
The way I won gold was obviously very different than other athletes in other sports. You know, I'm the first to win medal, probably the luckiest individual Olympic gold medalist in sporting history. Didn't change the fact that I trained my guts out 5 hours a day, 6 days a week for 14 years to put myself in that position. But when I went across the line, I didn't know what the appropriate response was. And in my head, I celebrated for 2 to 3 seconds. And then...
That's where the image of you with your arms up is coming, that infamous image.
Correct. But a second after that, my mind went straight to, okay, what's the judge's decision going to be here? Someone's going to get disqualified for sure. The American and the Canadian had both had small cuts from the fall, so there was a little bit of blood on the ice as well. after the 16,500 Americans in the grandstand stopped booing because the American didn't win, there was a dull hum across the stadium for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. The judges were huddled together, and I don't think they even knew what they were going to decide. And all the other skaters had gotten off the ice. People were thinking there might be a reskate, and we might have to come back in a few minutes and skate it again. Obviously, I was hoping not for a reskate. And I was the last one out there on the ice, and I thought, well, if they announce me the gold medalist here in a moment, which I think they are, I'm not going to grab the Australian flag and do a victory lap under these circumstances. So I got off the ice too. And
Okay.
just after I got off the ice on the Jumbotron, the official result came through, and it had in the Utah Jazz Stadium my name with the gold medal next to it. And at that moment, I knew that that was the official decision. And I looked up, not to the ceiling, not to God. I just looked up, and it felt like there was a few seconds there where the stadium was going crazy, some booing, some cheering,
Yeah.
but I couldn't hear any of it.
Yeah.
It felt like there was a few seconds in that moment that were carved out for me.
The Winter Games, I think, in terms of, because this is for Neds, there's sort of a quaddie, 4 legs of a quaddie of amazing Winter Games stories. So we think the Miracle on Ice, Eddie the Eagle, Jamaican bobsled team, and Stephen Bradbury. You've completed the 4th leg of this most amazing quaddie that the Winter Games provides.
Well, I'm happy to be linked with the Miracle on Ice because they won the gold.
Yeah,
Eddie
exactly.
on the Jamaican bobsled.
They didn't win gold, but in terms of those amazing stories that come from the Winter Games, that these are the 4 things that tend to get brought up more than most.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Winter Olympics has got a heap of famous stories that come up once every 4 years. We think Tonya Harding.
Yeah,
Nancy
Tonya.
Kerrigan.
Yeah, exactly.
We think Torval and Dean.
Yeah.
We think Alberto Tomba, Eric Hyden, Dan Jansen, Bonnie Blair. There's a lot of extremely famous Winter Olympians, and
The term doing a Bradbury enters the vernacular. There's people saying, oh, he's got Buckley's chance, he's had a Barry Crocker, and there's doing a Bradbury. Have you done a Bradbury since doing a Bradbury? Have you had anything happen to you that's been like, yeah, doing a Bradbury? You've been going, I've just done a Bradbury, but you are Bradbury.
doing a Bradbury, I love that saying.
Yeah.
Every time I hear it spoken, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up a little
Yeah.
bit. Incredibly proud of it. I understand the luck angle that goes with it, but I think most Aussies understand that to get into the final in anything in
Yeah.
life, you got to put in a lot of hard work to put yourself in a position to capitalise if things go wrong for your opposition. So I think I might have done my Bradbury 20 years ago now, but it's amazing how many times I've heard other people tell me something that's happened to them in their lives when they've done their version of a Bradbury. Not so long ago, I heard a group of young people, and they used the expression in the right context. They didn't know who I was or that I was even there.
That's amazing.
And I just walked away with a big grin on my face. They
Yeah.
didn't even know where it had come from or who the bloke was that was standing next to them, but they used the term doing a Bradbury.
That's amazing.
Perfect context.
What was the reception like in Australia when you did win the gold medal? I remember there just being absolute hype. Obviously, you become part of the national vernacular, but I think you went on Roy and HG that night on The Dream, and then you got your own stamp.
Yeah, the reaction in Australia for me was 100% unexpected, and
Yeah.
I was totally unprepared for it. I went from being a speed skater training at Acacia Ridge to
Yeah.
probably Australia's most recognisable person overnight. And the enormity of it probably didn't dawn on me until, well, after I flew back from Salt Lake City and I was on business class, which was cool.
Oh,
I'd never
yeah.
even seen
Oh.
a business class seat.
Oh, look
let alone
out.
sit in one.
Talk about the perks.
Yeah. And I got off the plane in Brisbane and I was walking up the gangway, and there was a sea of photographers and cameras and balloons and people.
Yeah.
And I'm walking up the gangway and I thought, oh, there must be someone famous on this flight. And then
was
I
you.
stopped and I went, oh, shit. I think it's me. And from that moment, my life turned into a blur for probably the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country wanted to buy me a beer.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to tell me where they were and what they were doing when I won the gold medal, and You know, the fact that my story might inspire a few Aussies to try a little bit harder and succeed in what they want to do in life, it's pretty gratifying.
What kind of dignitary? Did you get any congratulatory calls? Did the Prime Minister call you? Did, I don't know, did someone like an Ian Thorpe who's won a few gold medals give you a few tips on how to handle it or something like that?
I was kind of just thrown in the deep end there,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, I got to hang out with John Howard
Yep.
and have a chat with him and his wife. That was
Oh, yeah,
pretty-
John and Jeanette, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He wasn't wearing his tracksuit.
Oh, that's a shame. You could have worn your speed skating suit, and he could have worn the tracksuit. Would have been quite the combination.
I was at a bar on the Gold Coast
Yeah.
not long after the gold, and it was really noisy. I was having a drink with a few mates, and the place was packed.
Yeah.
And my phone rang, and I answered it, and I couldn't hear because it was too noisy in the bar. I said, "Oh, hang on a minute, mate. I just have to wait where I can get outside where I can hear." So
Yeah.
I sort of finished the conversation, pushed my way through the crowd. I got outside where it was quiet, and I said, "Yeah, hello," and he goes, "Oh, hi. It's Russell Crowe here."
Russell.
And I thought to myself, "Oh, shit, I've just left him on hold for 4 minutes." But I got to play the barman in his ex-wife, Danielle Spencer's music video, which was fun.
What would have happened if you didn't win the gold medal? Would you still be really satisfied with your career and what you did?
I'd be completely satisfied. In short track speed skating, you've got heats, quarterfinals, semi-finals, final, all in about an hour and a half. So they back the races up very quickly,
Yep.
one after the next. So I skated my heats, I won that, skated pretty good. And in the quarterfinals, my best legs that I'd ever seen showed up at the Olympic Games.
Yep.
And I was a couple of years past my best, so it wasn't quite the level that I had a few years earlier. But at 28 years of age, the oldest guy in the entire Olympic field, in the quarterfinal, my legs showed up. And I beat a bloke from Canada by the name of Marc Gagnon, 4-time world champ. I got second in the quarterfinal, first and second go through to the next round. And so I got into the semis, and for me, that was the moment of complete satisfaction, because I went to that fourth Olympic Games purely to skate my best, because I hadn't done it in the first three, and it was driving me crazy. So in that quarterfinal, where I finally did my best at the Olympic Games, sitting in the change room after that quarterfinal, the rush of personal satisfaction that washed its way through my body, that's the highlight of my life. The gold medal has nothing to do with it.
Just a cherry on top, really.
And I'd done a little bit of planning for post Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Obviously, I wasn't planning to come home with the gold medal. But I had planned and been through 8 of the 9 stages to become a firefighter.
Okay.
The last stage, the 9th stage of the selection process to get into the fireys, was the interview.
Yeah.
So I came back from Salt Lake City with the gold medal and sat down for the interview, and the head honchos from the Queensland Fire Service, they said, "Steve, if you want to be a fiery, you can be a fiery. Just tell us what happened over there in Salt Lake City."
Okay, so you can just show them this video if you ever feel the need to pick up a hose and get behind the truck in the future.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities presented after the gold. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, well, the fiery career got put on the back burner.
And still has been.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of regret. One day I might do it.
Well, Steve, congratulations. 20 years. It's been, as you said, we've entered the vernacular. It's easily one of everyone's favourite gold medals. It's legitimately a where were you moment in Australian sport, if not world sport. Let's hope that Mount Isa can bring home the games. You excited about the Mount Isa Winter Olympics?
Mate, I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the
Yeah,
t-shirt.
it's going to be
Bring
exciting.
on Mount
Bring
Isa
on Mount Isa.
2030.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, it's been a pleasure, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dylan.